for coming back to my kitchen. You are very welcome as always. Today I am going to be making lentil and halloumi bread. This recipe I got from YouTube 2 years ago. I think she put it out, and I will spell her name for you. It's Refika, Refika's Kitchen. I'll get my son to put the link to her channel in the description for you in case you want to go and look at what she did. Now in her video she made a plain lentil bread, and then she went on to make a lentil and halloumi bread. I'm just making the lentil and halloumi bread. I've never made the plain version. The version with halloumi, it's got dill in it too and spring onions. It's so delicious that I just haven't tried the plain version. I'm sure it's very nice. Yes, in her description, in her YouTube description, she's described herself as making Turkish cuisine. And she's a lovely bubbly lady, and it's a very, very nice recipe. So first thing today, I just want to explain that there might be a little bit of clattering at the front of the house. My kitchen's at the back of the house. At the front of the house, they're putting all new paths in all along the street. So there's pavements coming up and all sorts. They've got all sorts of machinery out there. So if there's clattering, we'll just ignore it, okay? So before we start today, there was a little bit of preparation last night, which I didn't film. So in this bowl, I have red lentils, and I'll read the amount off for you so I get it right. It's 400 grams. That works out to just over, just a smidgen over 14 ounces. If you've got digital scales, it was 14.1. And 2 cups. She gave the recipe in cups, which was a bit hard for me to decipher, but my American viewers, I'm sure, will like having the cups because I don't do the cups normally. That's too difficult. So yes, 400 grams of red lentils in a bowl. I'll take the cling film off now. This has been soaking in water overnight in the fridge, and it's all plumped up. When the red lentils went in, it was about nearly an inch of water above the red lentils, and they've soaked that all up. So the first thing we need to do is drain the lentils. It's a bit hard to grab hold of this bowl, but I'm just going to drain as much water off as I can. I'm going to just rinse these again under water and drain off again. And you'll need to use the big bowl today. I've got my big mixing bowl out because there's a lot going in here. It's going to make a lot. So we'll put this to one side and we'll prepare our tin or basin before we start properly. So I'm using today a Pyrex dish, and that's 30 by 22 centimeters. You can use a deeper dish, smaller deeper dish if you wish, but it wouldn't need to cook for longer. So I find this is better because it doesn't need to cook for too long. I've cut a piece of greaseproof paper to the size, and all I'm going to do to start with is just dot a little bit of butter here and there. We're not using butter in the recipe, so I'm not going to grease it with butter. All this is doing is we'll stick the greaseproof paper down, and I've cut to the sides, so it's going to go up to the sides. I've done that plenty of times in my videos, various videos. I don't think you need me doing that again. And just firm it all down, especially into those corners. Got a lentil stuck on me. And And then because we are using olive oil in the recipe, I'm just going to spread the parchment paper with olive oil. Now, if you do have a baking tin, a non-stick baking tin, the bread will be fine in that. But I don't have a non-stick one this big, so I have tried it in the Pyrex dish before without the greaseproof paper, and although it did come out, it left residue on the sides, which was really hard to get out in the washing up. So yeah, I decided to cook it like this from now on. It makes it easier just to lift out. So we'll put this to one side and put our oven on. The oven needs to be on 180 degrees centigrade, 350 degrees Fahrenheit, or gas mark 4. So we'll get the lentils back. And I'll get the whizzer. Now I'm using a hand whizzer today, a similar thing to I use in my soups. But if you do have a food processor, it would need to be a big one to get all this in. A food processor is good, or even a very powerful blender. My blender is not powerful enough for this, so I'm using a whizzer just to whiz it up. We just need to get the lentils into a pulp. Try and get them all into a pulp, but if there's a few left around the edges like this, I don't know if you can see those on camera, they'll be fine. We're adding other ingredients. So once that's done, whether you're using a food processor or a hand blender like me, we're going to add 8 ounces of natural yoghurt, and that works out as 285 grams, or as I'm doing cups today, that's 1 cup of natural yoghurt. At this point, I would recommend that you stick to either ounces, cups, or grams. It's unadvisable to mix the two. And there's 4 eggs, and that's 20 grams or 2 tablespoons of baking powder, and 60 millilitres of olive oil. We're going to give that a big whiz up. There, that's perfect. So that is the basic bread made. If you're making this bread plain, just add salt and pepper to that, pour it in the basin, and that will be cooked. But we're going to add all the flavours today, including the halloumi. So first of all, I'm going to chop the dill up. And this is about 14 or 15 sprigs of dill. This all came from a 20 grams packet, so depending on whether you're getting it from your garden or a packet, 20 grams if it's a packet. If it's your garden, about 14 or 15 little sprigs. I do want to start growing herbs, and dill is one of them. So it just needs to be chopped up very finely. Oh, the smell, I wish you could smell it. I have washed this before. I washed it yesterday with all my salad things, and it's been in a Tupperware container in the fridge overnight. So just keep chopping backwards and forwards, and this will become very finely chopped. Then that goes straight into the bowl. So next we're going to cut up 6 spring onions. Just peel the outsides off and cut them diagonally. into the bowl too. And now for the halloumi. This needs to be cut into cubes. It's 250 grams of halloumi, cut into cubes. And that goes straight into the bowl too. Done. Perfect. Just put all that straight into the bowl. And to this we're going to add about a teaspoon of salt. About half a teaspoon of black pepper. There. And just mix it all round. It looks delicious already, doesn't it? You can see now why we needed such a big bowl. So we're going to get our baking tin or roasting tin or Pyrex dish, whatever you've got and that you prepared earlier. And I'm going to tip it in. Now this bowl's heavy, so it's going to be difficult. I'm going to need my step. Keep a little step for such occasions. It's easier to hold if you're up high. What we have to do. So just tip it all in. So give it a little rock to get it settled. And now we're going to cover it in these lovely, see that there? Nigella seeds and sesame seeds. I had never had these Nigella seeds before this recipe, and they are so delicious. If you haven't tried them, you must find them. And we need lots of seeds. And that's going to go into the oven for 35 minutes. And don't forget, if you're using a deeper pan to cook it in, it's going to take longer. So I'll show you when it comes out how to tell if it's cooked properly, okay? That's my 35 minutes up. Let's get it out. I'll leave the oven on in case it's not quite done yet. Oh, it looks done. So what you do to see if it's done, just stick a knife straight in the middle. That's come out clean. Oh, it's heavy. Bring it over, show you. Doesn't that look delicious? And it's kind of split around the edges too. I find that always happens. It splits around the edges. Oh, that looks lovely. So we'll leave that for just 10 minutes and then I'm gonna cut it up and have some for lunch, and I'll show you the cut up bits. But it does need to be left for about 10 minutes before cutting it up, just to not be quite so hot. So the 10 minutes have gone and I'm going to cut it. And we're having it for lunch today. My son's at home today for lunch, so that'll make a nice lunch for us. We just cut it into big chunks. We find that's better, big chunks rather than a little slice. And this is lovely warm because all the cheese is warm inside. Here it comes. Look at that. You can see, I don't know if you can see the steam coming off. It's got steam coming off. And it's squishy, like, oh, the texture of it. Wonderful. So we're just about to go off to have our lunch. It is delicious, this warm. It's delicious warm or cold. I do have it for lunch at work too. and I don't warm it there. It's really lovely. If you do want to warm it, just put it in the oven for about 15 minutes at about 180 again, and it needs a little bit more warming than other things, about 15 minutes, because it takes a while for the halloumi to warm through, and that's the bit that you want warm. So anyway, I've just had a bite, so you have to excuse the bit that's come out. So you can see how springy it is. It's just a beautiful texture. So I'll do the taste test here, and then I'll be off for my lunch. It really is lovely. What's the trouble with the taste test? It's rude to speak with your mouth open. And I did take a big mouthful. Anyway, if you've liked the video today, don't forget to give me the great big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. It will help me greatly. And there's Instagram too. I always put a photograph up of anything I've made just before or just after the video goes up to let you know. So subscribe to that. That's Sheila's Kitchen with a kiss. Sheila's Kitchen with an X. So, hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you again next time.